Hello everybody, sorry I am a little bit late. I got carried away gathering supplies. I'm just gonna wait and see if anyone can join us live. I discovered that I own a lot of blue and green things, which is why I got a bit carried away, I think. So we'll just hold on a mo and see if anyone can join us live. I'm going to be playing with this palette today. It's one that you can hang. It's one we had previously. Did this one go in the kit? I think this one went in the kit, or it may have been a similar one. If you're interested in something like this, let me know. I could look at restocking them again. This one is particularly heavy. Thick one. Hi Cleo, hi Sarah, hi Shirley, thank you. There is thinner ones we can get, and different sizes, and vary from cheap to quite expensive. So if you like something like this, let me know. Right, so a few of you are finding us. So the first thing I wanted to show you is this amazing Crackle. So you can see it ranges from here, where I applied it very thinly and we've got very fine thin cracks, to here where it's applied very thickly and we've got big thicker cracks. And that was done by, oh, suddenly a load of people have shot on. Excellent. That was done using our pentart system. So you start with the cracking paste primer, just quite sticky thin material. Just put a coat on everywhere. I did that with a brush. Went over it I think twice. Once would be fine. Hi Mary. Let that dry naturally, which happens fairly quickly. Then with a palette knife I applied the cracking paste. I tried to do it in different thicknesses across the palette and quite messily, so I got a nice texture. So that's why I did it with a palette knife. And it's usually important with cracking paste systems not to keep going back over in different directions with the paste. Although I have to say this one, because I was working on the palette, I did have to go over a few times and it doesn't seem to have affected it at all. It's not going to do that again all day, is it? It's very windy today, so that could be bothering it. I think because this is a paste rather than a gel, you can be a bit more, play with it a bit more, because it's got a lot longer to dry. And then I left this overnight to dry and woke up to it like this. It looks fantastic. I love these cracks. So we're going to look at colouring that, but before I do that, I'm going to add another stencil. So this is the Crafters Workshop, or TCW, mini punchinella. It's one of my, no it's not, it's mini dots. It's in wrong packaging, I think it's called mini dots. So I'm going to add a bit more stenciling, not with my cracking paste, with just some normal paste. So let me see what I've got here. My shelf. Let me just go, oh, got my leg stuck. Let me just get some paste. What have we got? Let's go for the plaster paste. So this is Prima plaster paste. So it dries, as it says, with a plaster-like finish, which means that you can also sand it to get a natural look. I haven't used it for a while, so it's going to need a bit of a stir. Just the liquid has settled on the top. It's not a problem, we just give it a stir. Stir it back up, just like paint, where the different parts separate. There we go, that's fine again now. So this is going to give a different look to that of the Crackle paste. Can you hear the wind outside? It's horrendously windy. There's a cat that always floats around here and he's been crying and crying. I don't want to do too much of this because I don't want to cover up all that lovely crackle that I've made. Just going to do little sections, perhaps paying attention to where maybe the crackle hasn't worked as well. And being careful not to put my wet stencil back down onto my piece and not to smudge any that I've already done. I'll do 2 more so that I've got a nice odd number. Don't like even numbers. Let's do a little patch down here. Okay, that'll do. Hi Deb. Right, I'll just clean this off. I need to get some more wipes out of the bathroom. Hopefully got enough for this demo. And I'll just clean my stencil off. This isn't a particularly delicate one, so I can be a bit rough with my wipes. If you have got a delicate one, I just get that straight into some water, don't damage it. I sorted all my stencils out yesterday. I'm very proud of myself. Got them all the packagings that I had, I put them away and then sorted out ones I don't use anymore. We're going to be organising soon some kind of market night, that's what I'm going to call it for want of a better word, where me and a few friends will pop some personal things, some artwork, you know, stuff from our own stashes, what was that? Whatever it may be, up into albums and sell them off. So I will be getting rid of some of my stencils. They will be used, but in perfectly good order. I wouldn't sell anything you can't use. So I'm just going to give this a dry now, and then we're going to look at adding some colour. So I went through my stash and I have so much blue and green paint. It is ridiculous. So I've got a lot to choose from. Blue and green, especially together, are such nice colours, and with little pops of gold or bronze. I love those colours together. So this plaster paste, you can just apply it on its own without a stencil, with a palette knife, with a texture tool. And I say that you can, once it's dry, it's actually sandable. So it's pretty cool stuff. Yeah, I love blue and green. And it's going to show up so nice in these cracks. So we might start with a darker colour perhaps, that we can wipe into the cracks to be where the crack is. We can colour the crack, excuse the expression, and then we can work on some layers on top. That's dry enough. Right, so I want to go for a dark colour at the back. Let's use a bit of impasto in cobalt, one of my favourites. Yeah, nautical colours, that's the theme I'm going for today. That's not going to be a good idea. Let's go a soft brush so I can work it in. This is going to need watering down. So I'm looking more to get this into the background, and I'm going to wipe it away again off the top because I want to colour that the crack rather than the top layer here. I need to be careful where my stenciling is, so I'm going to pop a bit onto my mat and water that down a bit. So I'm going in, work it in, and then I'm going to wipe it away again. So I'm just colouring that background, the crackle bit, where the crack is, that's what I'm colouring. And then I'll work on the base, on the top colour rather. Just being careful on the stenciling, so it's not quite dry yet. I can be a bit more rough on the crackle bits. I'd like to show you a product today as well that I'd like to see if you're interested in me stocking. Let's go back over this one as well. Now these do dry fairly quick, so we need to be quickish, wiping, taking that colour back off. Okay, so there's a base colour for us. Hi Kasha. Right, so let's see now. So something I wanted to show you. Liquid acrylics from Finnabair. So these are the total opposite end of the spectrum to impastos. Impastos, they're very, very thick. These are opaque, so solid colours, full coverage, even one applied on top of the other. So if I put yellow on top of blue, that's fine, it would cover. Very, very thick, very pigmented. These still very pigmented, but totally the opposite end. So these are thin, these are watercolour thickness. They are very, very pigmented too, but they're transparent, so you can layer them. But if I were to put, say, yellow over the darker colour would be prominent, so it would show through over. So they're layerable. These will overrule each other, whatever you put on top. Okay, now these were dud ones I had, so I'm not sure. Yeah, it's a bit weird. I had a bad batch that got frozen. Oh, okay, that one came out alright. Oh, and that one did. This one was a bit fun. Okay, so the colours I'm going to use are emerald, ultramarine, and deep turquoise. Yeah, it's fab, isn't it, Kasha? I have to say, one of the best and quickest Crackle formulas I've used. So yeah, I was really pleased with that. Let's see. Now they are super duper pigmented. Okay, it looks like it's gonna work alright. So I'm gonna use these now. Oh, that's a lovely colour. To get some colour on the top now. We can move these around further with our water They're very pigmented, so a little goes a long way here. So this is what I'd like to know if you've interest in this. We could look at stocking these. I was trying to stock them before, and then we had the really bad winter and it just upset me a bit, I guess, and I was a bit frustrated and thought, nope, that's it, I'm not stocking them now. But I'd always intended to. So if you'd like to see them, let me know. I'm going to be doing an order shortly that I could add these to. Okay, and then the emerald. This is going to create some yummy sea colours here. So they are watercolours style, but they're acrylic, so they have the same characteristics as an acrylic. So when they're dry, they'll be permanent. They dry with a glossy finish as well. That's the other difference to the pastos. They are matte, whereas these have a gloss finish. Semi-translucent, as I said. They can be watered down when they're wet, but they're permanent once dry. What else? They can be used on jelly printing, for stamping, lots of stuff. And you can also get the liquid colour fluid medium, which dilutes the colours and makes them flow better. So you can create a whole load of other shades by introducing that. These are the liquid acrylics from Finnabair Clio. It's a base I had in stock a long time ago, so if you're interested in something like this, let me know. I can look at stocking them again. Now you can see here how much I've got left. That's how pigmented they are. So let's not waste that. Let me get a tag or something. So let me water that down a bit more. So I don't want to waste all that scrummy colour. Look, tons, and there's still loads on my map there. Could even get a second tag, I think. Let me grab another one. Let's get another one. So yeah, don't waste colour when you put it down. Mop it up with something. Hi Margaret, you're drying your hair. Lovely. Did you see I chopped all my hair off? It was just so hot yesterday and I thought, oh no, that's it. I can't be doing with it any longer. I'm going to have to do it myself. I was waiting for the hairdressers to reopen. I just had enough yesterday. Just so hot and bothered. Let's put them over there. Right, I'll just clean that up. And look, still all that colour there. So yeah, and let's dry it and I'll show you how different they look. Oh, dropped my heat gun. Oh, come here. There's not much room in this corner. Things fall on the floor, it's a bit awkward. You could even have a bit more water to get that to drip and flow. Left a little bit white. Yeah, yes you did, sorry Margaret. Yes, feels very good. I mean, it looks pretty awful, I'll be honest. But that's what happens when you just tie your hair up and chop it. But it will grow and I can have it fixed by someone, so I'm not worried. It's not important, but the hair I cut off will be very important to someone, I hope. It'll mean the world to them if they can have a wig made from it and they can't grow their own hair, or they've gone for chemo or something terrible. So yeah, it's not a worry. That's some yummy colours. Hi Maxine, can you see those beautiful colours? And you can see how they layer, so can you see how those have blended together? Nice. Thanks Cleo. Oh, it does feel good. I haven't had my hair short ever, I don't think. So yeah, it was a bit of a shocker, but it's good. Right, I'd like some sparkle now, because when I think of the sea, I don't know why it's sparkly to me. So let's get a few things. Let's have a look here. Okay. I'm just patting these down so that I don't open them and get lots of waste. Yeah, good Crackle. It is a very good Crackle. So these are Colour Glows by 13 Art. They're a metallic watercolour. So a watercolour powder that we activate with water. So this colour is Tanzanite. And then I'm going to go for green. This is Emerald. Yeah, if you missed the beginning, the Crackles are the pentart system that we've just popped up. So it's a two-part system. You start with a base, kind of glazy sort of one, like a glossy one. Let that dry and then pop your paste over the top. So that's Emerald. And then I'm going to use a bit of my Fabrique Deco Magic paints, which are a similar thing. So there's like a base flat colour. Let's see if anything was coming out then. And a metallic over colour, and they're two-tone, the same as the 13 Arts. So I'm going to spray a bit higher so I don't just fling that back off my canvas. And then I can get closer once it's done. Oh, I like that emerald. I think I'd like a bit more of that actually, because that looks really nice. Okay. So it's starting to look quite sea-like. It is getting fairly wet, so it's important to stop in a second and dry. Okay, so let's dry. And the shimmer is going to be delicate on this look because I've got a white base. If I had a black base, it would be much more prominent. I see my little card here somewhere floating about. Lovely. I did do a video on the colour glows, so if you'd like to see how they look on black. Oh, I've got my little yeah, have a look at the video on our page, and there's some pictures as well. So on black they'll be much bolder. Here you'll get more of the pigment and just a delicate shimmer. So if you get any ugly lumps, that's fine, just add a bit more water. So that's kind of my background on now. I'd like to start building on my piece. Hi Helena. So I've got a mixture of moulded pieces. That was a Stampera. I've got some Prima ones like this. They're all a bit splattery now. I've got some MDFs from Hobbylicious. And I want this one to be the main part. I need to ask the ladies actually if you're on. These kind of steampunky nautical ones, are they general stock or are they just in a kit? Because I'd like to get some if they're general stock. Oh, 15 watching, that's pretty good. In stock. Okay, please remind me to order some. I forgot all about them. Oh, this looks really nice. So I'm hoping you can see that shimmer, and also the gloss from the liquid acrylics has given a shine everywhere, and it seems to have gone particularly shimmery over the whiter parts. So like on the stenciling, it's really nice. Okay, so next we want to decide on our pieces. So I definitely want to feature this piece, this captain's wheel, if you like. I have this lovely seahorse. This is the Stampera mould, which I keep forgetting to order for you. Now these are different moulds. These come like this. So they don't work as well with clay. This was clay, but I really had to work to get it to work. Be much better with a paste or a resin would be the easiest. I've just reordered some resin. I'm gonna give it a go again. So resin would be far easier in here because it's a big piece. There's lots of little textures, so it would be much easier to do with resin. So I will get and order some of those. I'm going to sort out an order today. We have got this lovely one from Hobbylicious as well though, which the size might be better for this piece, I think. I've got a smaller ship's wheel. We could include that as well. Excuse me, I'm a bit croaky. Let me have a drink. Excuse me. I used up all my pretty seaweed this morning. So the Stampera mould, the Prima mould, the mermaid, has got some gorgeous seaweeds in there. So I did a whole batch of clay before but they're not dry yet, so I can't use them today, unfortunately. I love these seaweeds. They're really fab. But yeah, that'll have to be another time. But there's this nice seaweed here from Hobbylicious, so we could include that perhaps. Are you selling these, Cleo, the seahorses, or is it with your boat kit? Feel free to pop a link if you like, but I will look at getting these in because I love them. And we have got the little rowing boat in our stock as well. If you go to thompsonscraftsupplies.com, there's a little rowing boat kit you can get that would go good with this. Could even layer up the two, couldn't we? Ah, you haven't put them on yet. Yes. Oh, I need to remember all these things. No, I think that's a waste of that one. Right, so I want the seaweed. I want this wheel. I want to use those. We've got some starfish. That might look quite good. I've got this rope, but this was when I did the mouldings, and if you caught me before, I didn't flatten some down, so we'd have to break that. Perhaps. Yeah, that looks okay. I've got this little steampunky fish. That's from the Stamperia mold. We could have him in there maybe. Okay, I think that's quite good. We don't want to have too much and ruin. That's better. That just fits better. Okay, so let's get these out of the way. That's what I'm going to use, I think. I've got some really cool stuff. Oh, this is a moss that's going to destroy my work. That's okay. It's over here. It comes on a roll, and I got it from Dun Arms, and I thought this might be really cool texture. So I might have a little snippet of that. And it's different colours throughout. I thought that a little piece of that might be quite cool. So we'll snip off a bit of that. I like this reddy end. So we'll have a bit of that. Don't want that. Right, so before we stick this all down, we need to prime all these pieces. So as my background is white, let's do these white as well. So I'm going to need to get some white gesso. So we'll put that to one side. And we're going to paint these with white gesso. So I'm going to use Fabrique Decru white gesso. I also use Prima. Whatever I have to hand is fine. If I've got a particularly dark piece or something a bit awkward, then I usually would go for the Prima, just because it's very full coverage, so I can know that in one coat I will definitely get that covered. This is fine as well, so we'll try it on the wood so you can see. So this is the dark side. Let's see. This is not a particularly great paintbrush I'm using. Actually, maybe that's good. Maybe I should purposely get a bit of texture on here. So it's covering okay. I might want to do a second coat. But it really is just to get a base coverage onto our wood so that we can then apply other stuff. So I'm not going to worry too much about that. And I always think at the end, I can always cover anything really glaringly obvious with a bit of wax, so I don't worry about it too much. If you're going for a really pale look though, you want it to be really white, then sure, go ahead and dry and do a second or maybe even third layer. Just make sure to dry in between, as you end up with a really thick, gunky mess, which isn't nice, and it really will affect the other layers you put on top. Now the modelling material is quite good to paint straight onto. It's not like resin, it's not going to resist too bad. So again, I'm not going to fuss too much with those. I know that I can paint straight on with most paints and it would be okay. So I'm not going to, you know, spend all day painting those. The resin is the one I want to be most careful with because it's a plastic, so if we don't cover that, any kind of water-based paint is just going to run off there. If we were using alcohol inks, that would be okay, or a spray paint I suppose would be okay, but any water-based paints are just gonna run off that resin, so we need to pay a bit more attention to that one. This little seaweed. Yeah, it's really nice, I have to say. It's a good crackle. There's nothing more satisfying than coming back, like waiting overnight or whatever, a good few hours for that crackle, and coming back and seeing it really worked. I haven't tried doing it with a heat tool. Maybe next time I'll try with a heat tool to see. I left it to dry naturally overnight this time, so maybe next time I'll try with a heat tool to see how it responds. So I've got a really old, quite stiff brush so that I'm able to really work that in. The resin is hard, so harder than the modelling material, so I can be quite vigorous here and work that in to all this texture. I may look at getting some of the resin back in, so the one that we used before, what's the name of it? I've forgotten. Kasha, you might know because I gave you some of it. It's a box with 2 bottles in, and you pour equal measures. Oh, you did it with a heat tool and it's fine. Oh, even better. So that means you can get the cracks quite quickly. Kasha, can you remember what the name of the resin is that I gave to you? The 2 little bottles. I've forgotten the name of it. So yeah, if there's any interest in resin, let me know. I can look into that again as well. Anything really, if there's something you really want to stock and it fits in with our mixed media theme, or it's something I can order in a single for you, then I'm more than happy to look into that. You know, we want to stock what you want ultimately, so yeah, let me know. You've heated it before as well, Margaret. Oh, that's good, because some crackle glazes and pastes don't like being heated, so that makes it even better. So that means you don't have to wait. But yeah, the resin, it's a bottle, 2 bottles, and you just pour equal measures, mix them together, stir it, and then it's ready to go. And I think within about half an hour they're hard and ready to be used. So yeah, any interest in resins or anything else, and let me know what you think about those liquid acrylics. So I really love them. They're so pigmented, and I like the way they kind of layer on top of each other, and that they have that glossy look after. I'm just going to give this another little blast. It's gone so shiny this now, it's really pretty. And I like how the gloss and the shine have worked together. So that shine kind of enhances the glittery look of the paint. Right, so now we need to decide how to colour these. So we want something to contrast a little bit to this. So we could go with like a orangey, like corally colour, maybe for some of it. We need a different green, so let's use a bright green on here. This is Fairy Wings Sparks Paint by Finnabair. This is a newer one, so they come runny when you get them. I've got some older ones which are a bit thick, but I have found that the Fabrica Decoru medium acrylic transparent, if you mix some of that into your paints when it gets a bit thick, that really helps loosen it up again, make it a bit thinner. So I've got a smaller paintbrush now. I'm using some Finnabair paintbrushes here. They're really nice quality. I've had mine quite a while now, and as long as you sort of, you look after them, they look after themselves, if you know what I mean. And they're good quality brushes. And there's a set as well that I've got that have texture tools on them. I hope you can see, it's nice and shiny. So there's a set that comes like this with texture tools on, and then this is the plain smaller brushed set. Okay, so that's that one. I'd like to have a different tone in there as well, so let's go for let's try this Bounty. Is this, oh no, this one opens. I'm really bad at remembering to wipe them. Oh, this is the one I mixed the medium acrylic into, so don't worry about that white, that you just mix that again, and look, it's back quite thin. This had really dried up quite bad. I'd not put the lid on properly, so that is pretty good now. So I'll have a little touch of that. So if your paints start to dry up, that's a good way to do it. I've read that just adding water actually isn't that great for them. So just watering down the pigment, whereas this will help keep the same consistency and vibrancy. Right, so that's that. So that was Fabrica Decoru Bounty Metallic and Acrylic Paint Sparks Fairy Wings. Right, I want a reddish browny colour for the seahorse. So let's try 13 Arts Colour Glow in Golden Calcite. Open it over there. There we go. Right, I've got a bit on there already. Oh, that's a nice coppery colour. So let me get another clean brush. It's quite browny, so we'll need something a bit pinker on top. This would be a good colour for the wheel and the rope as well, actually. Okay, so I'll leave that open a second. I want a coral red. Let's try that one. Yeah, that's more the colour I was aiming for, I can see. Oops, I'll have an avalanche of pots in a minute. Oh, there we go. Oh yeah, that was more the colour I was going for the seahorse. They're more kind of greeny coloured naturally in nature, but I just thought this colour might pop off of that blue green, because I don't want another lot of blue and green on top of the blue and green. Let's do the starfish as well while I've got this colour on my mat. You can see little goes a long way with these when we water them down. Could even pop a little bit of that over the seaweed. Okay, so that's those two. I'm going to use that brown on the wheel and the ropes. So pop you over there a minute. So I kind of spray a little bit away from the powder and then mix it so I don't get the powder flying everywhere. And I'd like to mix, there's a darker brown as well in here. That one, tiger's eye. No, that's the greenier one. That's it there. Andalusite. I'm going to pop a little bit of that in there as well. Oh, that's a lovely colour, look at that. A really browny, coppery colour. Nice. And towards the end, we'll alter the colour slightly with some waxes. So the little brushes allow me to get into all the little shapes of the wheel. A bigger brush would be more difficult. Oh yes. Well, it's the self-healing mats, the cutting mats. So it's really bad. I did find though, if I got some nail varnish remover and gave it a scrub, that actually worked really well to get a lot of this off. So yeah, I think it's due another clean soon. So this colour, this brown I'm using, was a little bit of andalusite mixed with the golden calcite colour glow, and then activated with the water spray. It's a really yummy rich colour. So you can mix them, you don't have to just use them as they are. You can mix your own custom colours. And it's really strong, it's covering really nicely on this modelling material, which is great. Let's go for this one. Maybe we'll mix up the colour a little bit. Let's put some of that tiger's eye in there. So that's a greenier brown. Hi Julia. Oh, hello Zena. Just spotted your name there. I want it more greeny. So let's have a bit of that emerald as well. I really want to give a green pop. Like it's gone a bit lost to the waters, a bit mossy and rusty-ish. I'm going to add some textured paint over this one, I think, to give it a real grittiness. So we need to dry these in a minute and start getting them stuck on. I'll try that, and then we'll use that gritty paint I was on about. Right. The seaweed is dry. Oh, we haven't done the fish. I'll do the fish with something else, that's fine. No, it's where I keep moving everything around. That'll do. Right, so I need to colour this with something. Let's use that nice liquid acrylics again. So I use the same colours. Tiniest drop because they're really strong. Oh, yep, that was way too much. Way too much. Make sure I put them in the right bag, not in my bin bag. And we'll maybe rusty him up with some wax at the end. Do my quick dry. I'm on TV. Hey, I'm famous. I totally forgot that you could put YouTube and that onto the TV. I was so excited the other day. And then my signal started playing about and it wouldn't work. I was like, yay, I can watch Finnair on the TV. And then it went. The TV was playing up. Okay, right, let's do. So, rustic paint malachite. I want to do it on the ship's wheel and the seaweed. So these are the grittiest, you can hear that, of the Fabrica paints. So you can probably see the grit in there. You've got chamois velour paints, which are like a flocked finish, and these are really gritty, so you can get a good rusty effect with these. So I'm going to dab some little bits of this on, not too much, I don't want to cover up all that shimmer, and then I'm going to do it on here to dirty up my ship wheel, make it look lost to the seas, like the sea's taken over. You see the texture on there? And I'll introduce a brownie sort of colour back to that later. To get my waxes on it. Right, I think the seahorse needs a second colour. Maybe a little bit of that green on his belly. Oops, I'm knocking everything over. I'm gonna sort of dry brush. I don't want much on there. Sorry, doing that off camera. Kind of forget you're on a camera sometimes. Just like you would with a wax, just kind of highlighting with this paint. So just a very small amount on my brush. If you get a bit too much on, you can wipe it off with a wipe. There we go. So we'll finish those all up with some wax in a bit. Let's get this all dry. And I shall tidy up a little bit while I'm doing that. I have some more room to build. What's that, Cleo? Forgot you could do. Oh, what, putting the thing on the TV? Yeah, it's good, isn't it? So I'll decide on the wax at the end, I think. The green gold colour is the fairy wings. It's one of my favourites actually. It's a greeny gold. It's kind of almost a little orangey hint in there. It's a really pretty colour. It's one, I think green is a very overlooked colour. You know, people just think, oh, Christmas or trees. No, it's a really useful colour. Right, let's bring back the base. Let's check we're dry. Yep, so just show you that again. Yummy, yummy. Right, I'm going to get my 3D gloss gel from Prima. The 3D gel from Fabrica is just as good for adhesives. Get a palette knife. So I prefer the plastic ones personally. I just find they've got a bit more bend, and I like the thinner style ones rather than the thick ones for this sort of thing. So I'm just tapping a little bit all along. Don't need tons. It's not too heavy. It's quite big, but it's not particularly heavy. Just to get some contact with my base. You want like a nautical kit. I have to speak with Kasha. Okay, next I need to decide where my seahorse is gonna sit. Okay, he's gonna sit there. That's fine. Now my rope did bend a little bit. Okay, that's okay. So same idea, just tapping. Oops, I broke it on purpose to flatten it. You can hide that when you stick it back together. So when I do the molds, I've got some up on my shelf above me. I just every so often press down with my hand just to make sure they're drying flat, which I didn't do with this mold. That's why it's curved like this, because there's a moisture in there, which as it dries, that dries, so it shrinks slightly. So it's important to flatten them every so often as you get this curving. Yeah, I'll have a word with Kasha, see what she thinks. I love a nautical theme. We have got one more kit planned for mine and Kasha's site actually. After the travel book, I've been working on my travel book today, and then we do need to think of some more ideas after that. So maybe we can pop nautical as an idea on the table. We did start planning another kit, like the base project, but we haven't got further than that yet. So with the resin, it's quite bulky and heavy, so I want to be sure that that one's stuck. So you can add a bit more onto that one. Don't worry if you go a bit over, it will dry. This one's going to need a bit more because it's slightly curved, so it's not going to sit flat. And I'll cover that up, don't worry about that gel for now. And I want the seahorse at a bit of an angle, so I need to fill that gap. So you could put some chipboard or something in there. I'll just use some gel to fill the gap. And then it's got something for him to sit on top of. that. So that'll dry and hold that in place eventually. I feel like there's something needed in this gap here. I haven't got any wording yet, so I could add some words maybe into that gap. Okay, so that's all that stuck down. So we'll come back to the gap in a minute. I've got this blue glass glitter. So I'm going to sprinkle some of that into that gel. You could use micro beads, you could use glitter, anything. You've got little sea beads, just something textured, coloured, whatever you fancy. Oh, I did have my seaweed, I forgot to stick it on. It's a bit too late now, really. That's a shame. I've got some neon glitter as well. You can have a little bit of that. Carefully, because that's not dry yet. Pat the excess off of that. There we go, so that's filled all those gaps. Steampunk kit as well. That might be more a good one for our kits and caboodle venture, because I know that's something we all like, steampunk. So if you haven't seen our kit ventures yet with Kasha and Hobbylicious, me and Kasha have got a page, Kasha and Louise, or tutorials with Kasha and Louise, I forget which way around it goes. And we've also got, that's a smaller scale kit project, and then we've got a bigger project kits available with Kits and Caboodle, which is with Hobbylicious as well. So yeah, check those out. We're about to release a new kit on the Kits and Caboodle next week as soon as Kasha gets her kit. Right, I want some words. Let's see. I want something fairly big. Let's have a look if there's something in here. So these are my Tim Holtz chipboards. Let's have a look what we've got. I'd like one of the chunky ones. Really, ooh, salvaged. Like a salvage shipwreck. That could work, couldn't it? That is just what we needed in that gap. Yeah, thank you, Louise. I hope you're enjoying them. I need something to prop that up a little bit. So I need some excess. So a little bit of craft board. Just to raise this side up of my word. Today actually is the last day to get the Spring Birdsong kit on the Kits and Caboodle page. So if you're interested in that one and you haven't got it yet, do pop along there today and give us a message, because it's the last day to get them. Oh, that's good to hear, Louise. I'm glad. And like you just had there, if you've got any ideas for kits, do let us know, because obviously we want to do something everyone likes. Oh, that looks, oops, that looks good. That filled that gap nicely. Just something missing. I love to have a word or title on my projects, so that worked nicely. Right, now a little bit more magic with some waxes, I think. So that can go away, that can go away, that can go away, that can go away, and that can go away. Right, let's see. Boo. Now I was gonna do something browny golden-ish. I didn't get out copper, did I? Where's copper gone? copper under here somewhere, or brass, that'll do. I wanted to make the wheel brownish again, so this is Prima wax, aged brass. So I want to give it kind of a patinary feel, like it's gone all worn under the sea, and you'll see that texture of the paint better when we put this on. Okay, and I'm going to do same one to the rope. Okay, I'm going to go for pentart in turquoise for my fish. My hair's not dry yet, so I need to be careful. I just want to get a wipe. Knock some of that back. They're quite wet, the pentart ones, so you need to be very light-handed with them. Just on the tip of your finger and brushing over, not pushing it into the surface. Okay, and I'd really like to get something magical onto the seahorse. Let's use a bit of the matte waxes from Prima. This is patina green. Now these are very, very fresh, so they're going to be very wet, so very, very light-handed here. And we're going to see too much. Just kind of dirty him up a little bit. And this will just help pick out the textures on him as well. And we'll go back to the brass for the starfish, so they're not the same colour. Oh, nice, Louise. Okay, Margaret, we shall speak to the powers that be, see what we can come up with. A little bit on the starfish. I think I'm going to pop a bit of the green onto the rope as well, this patinary colour. Oops, that's far too much. Yeah, do show us your work after, ladies. It's really nice to see what people did with them. And I think we have a little bit of brass on the fish as well. I think we're pretty much there. I have got a matte brown. Oops, I didn't really want that in there. Oh well, it's in there now. Just for the wheel, rusty brown. Now this one is a bit juicy. If they come really wet, you can leave the lids off a little bit. Yeah, see, it's very juicy. Just to dry them out a bit. So I can dirty up the wheel a little bit with this one. So the matte waxes will let you get a rust effect without using pastes. So if you're not that keen on the pastes, these will let you get the similar effect. There we go, and I think we're done. Ah, thanks, Mary. Something we can certainly talk about. The problem is it's using a lot of mould, so we wouldn't really be able to I don't know how we would go about all the moulded pieces. It's certainly we could discuss and we could do a nautical theme. It's just whether we could do it with all these elements. So I started off with my Crackle paste from Pentart, the two-piece system. Very easy to use, and we've now established you can do it with a heat gun, so quicker as well. I used a mixture of the fluid acrylic paints from Prima with some colour glows and magic paints from 13 Arts and Fabrica Decoro. We've got a variety of MDFs and resins and clay pieces, all painted up again with some sparks paints, the 13 Arts colour glows, and finished with some waxes, all stuck down with 3D gel, a Tim Holtz quote board, a mixture of some green glitter and some glass glitter in blue, and that was pretty much it. Finished off with waxes from Prima and Pentart. So I hope you enjoyed it, and this can be hung, by the way. And I'll see you again soon. Thank you very much for watching. Have a lovely day. Bye.